Working for you. This is RTV6. Good morning, Indiana.
This morning, we're remembering the life of fallen Boone County Deputy Jacob Pickett as Central Indiana comes together to say a final goodbye.
But first, we want to take a minute to bring you your weather and your traffic to kick off your Friday. And Todd Clausen is joining us. And Todd, we have a clear forecast, which is good news for all the funeral processions and events going on today.
Yeah, it's just very chilly here this morning with temperatures that are in the teens and the 20s. The sky's starting to brighten here this morning. And we have just a few high, thin clouds out there. But look at this temperature at the airport in Indianapolis, 22 degrees. Some of you even cooler as you work your way to the north. We have temperatures in the teens from Crawfordsville to Lafayette over towards the Peru area. A little warmer to the south, 22 in Bloomington if you want to call it warmer. 25 degrees the current temperature in Columbus. You factor in the wind and it feels like it's still in the teens. So it is a very, very chilly morning, but skies are mainly clear. We have this one little band of high, thin cloud cover that's starting to develop across the area, but otherwise skies will be sunny here this morning, and then we'll transition to partly cloudy skies this afternoon. Wind not an issue throughout the day today, so we'll warm quite nicely here throughout the morning hours. 37 degrees by the noon hour, on our way up to a high temperature this afternoon, Elena, of 43 degrees.
All right, thank you, Todd. As you are taking to the roads this morning, the good news, everything is moving up to speed. We do have some crashes in the area, though. There's a crash on northbound I-65 at I-465, and then an injury crash at Gasoline Alley at Rockville Road. So if you go through these areas for your commute, just pay attention and use some extra caution. But let's take a look at those roads right now. The great news for your morning commute, those roads are dry. Here's a look at I-70 at Rural Street, Keystone Avenue. All is moving up to speed, so if you are heading out the door right now, no delays in your commute.
Just a very sweet young man, very kind.
But Deputy Jacob Pickett was more than that.
He got the job done. He did it the right way.
He kept an eye on Boone County while bringing so much joy to the people around him.
He's got that big smile. He's always in a good mood. And that laugh was just contagious.
And his final act, giving someone else another chance at life.
If you needed something, he was always there.
And today, we're honoring his sacrifice.
Deputy Jacob Pickett, or as his friends called him, Jake, was killed in the line of duty at the age of 34.
It's been a hard week for the Boone County community, and today we'll say our final goodbyes. This morning, we're looking back on his life.
First, we're going to take you through the services. Our reporters are taking us live through the procession and funeral and Deputy Pickett's burial. We begin with Nicole Griffin, who joins us from Connection Point Christian Church. Good morning, Nicole.
Lauren and Meredith, good morning. In just over an hour here, Deputy Pickett's procession will arrive here at Connection Point Christian Church in his hometown of Brownsburg. Hundreds of his brothers and sisters in blue from all across the country will be taking part in that procession and escorting his body into the church ahead of his funeral later this morning. We are expecting the procession to arrive here in Brownsburg at 8 o'clock. This will be a very difficult day for the Boone County Sheriff's Office and Deputy Pickett's friends and family. In a post written just under an hour ago by Boone County Sheriff Mike Nielsen, he says, "Thank you, Jake, for your overwhelming strength you gave us yesterday so that we could make it through a day filled with the hardest emotions we have ever had to go through." Sheriff Nielsen says, "We ask that you do the same today, as there will be even harder emotions to overcome and conquer." As the procession arrives here at the church, there will be a ceremonial removal of Deputy Pickett's casket from the hearse into the church by the honor guard. Deputy Pickett's K9 brick will also have a very special role we are expecting to learn more about during the service here this morning. After the funeral, there will be a procession from Connection Point Christian Church in Brownsburg. The procession will leave the area on State Road 267, eventually making it to Lebanon. From there, hundreds of law enforcement members will continue escorting Deputy Pickett through Whitestown and Zionsville, eventually arriving in Indianapolis. The procession for Deputy Pickett will arrive at Crown Hill Cemetery. That's where our Aaron Lish is now standing by live this morning, continuing our team coverage. Aaron, good morning.
Good morning. As the sun comes up, we're seeing more law enforcement officers arriving here at Crown Hill Funeral Homes, where they will be escorting Deputy Pickett's body to Brownsburg. Now, we're seeing people not only from the state here in Indiana, but law enforcement. They're coming from NYPD, Chicago PD, Dallas. I mean, they are all over the country coming here to support Deputy Pickett and his family. Now, last night they did have a visitation here for anybody who want to say their final goodbyes to Deputy Pickett. And it was kind of incredible. There's so many homes that have those blue lights illuminated on their front porches on the way here in Indianapolis. I saw those all along the way, just showing their support. Now, again, that funeral will be at 11 this morning in Brownsburg. That procession, that massive procession, will end up here at the cemetery, and he'll end up joining many of the state's fallen heroes. Now, when it comes to these honors of ceremonies, there will be things like the rifle salute. They'll also be giving a flag to his family, as well as that final call to Deputy Pickett. For now, I'll send it back to you guys in the studio.
Nicole, Aaron, thank you very much.
And of course, we'll have much more from our live crews just ahead here at 6:30. But first, we do want to take a minute and show you the touching response from the community who loved Jacob and his family.
You can see it here, the signs of support for his wife, Jennifer, during the hardest time of her life. You can see it at White Lake Elementary School, where she's a teacher, to the thin blue line flags lining the streets placed out by Whitestown municipal employees, and the thousands of lumentaries that lined Heritage Trail Park in Zionsville to show just how much he lit up our community.
And Deputy Pickett spent his life in law enforcement, serving his community any way he could. And the Boone County Sheriff says that he was the right man for the job since day one.
I immediately saw the passion and the drive and the fire in Jake.
And here's a look back at his career. He worked for the Marion County Sheriff's Office starting in 2010. He was awarded the Sheriff's Jail Deputy of the Year in 2013. He then moved to be a deputy at Tipton County Sheriff's Department. Deputy Pickett then joined the Boone County Sheriff's Department.
He left an impact on people all across central Indiana, but mostly his family, including the few people who know the pain Deputy Pickett's wife is feeling right now, spouses of fallen officers.
I was telling her that in a year, the news will be gone, everyone will be gone, besides us. I couldn't express enough that we aren't leaving her.
That was the wife of fallen Howard County Deputy Carl Kuntz. Deputy Pickett leaves behind his wife Jennifer and two young sons, his parents, his sister, and his niece, who you see here in these pictures as well. And you can help Deputy Pickett's family by donating in his name. If you want to make a direct contribution to the Pickett family, send it to the Deputy Jake Pickett Memorial Fund. You can drop off those donations at the Boone County Sheriff's Office or at any key bank. A local group is also giving 100% of the proceeds to his wife from the sales of these memorial buttons.
You can also make donations online. To find this link, just head to our website, theindychannel.com. It's under the Hot button. There you can also find more stories of remembrance on the RTV6 app.
Throughout the day, we will be on air and streaming his funeral online as we remember fallen Deputy Jacob Pickett. That all begins at 10:30 this morning.
And Meredith, time now is 6:38. We are following some breaking news just into our newsroom. Homicide detectives have been called here to this scene of an assault on the northeast side. This one happened here on North Shadeland Avenue just about a half hour ago. Police telling us that the victim was assaulted and taken to the hospital where that person has died. It's fairly early in this investigation, so we're still working to get more details about what happened, including a possible suspect in this case. There is hope, but also some apprehension about a just-announced meeting between President Trump and North Korean leader Kim Jong-un. President Trump says that he wants the meeting to happen by the end of May, and he says he'll keep up the maximum pressure approach until the North gives up its nuclear program. Also, right now, IMPD officers are looking for this elderly man who says that he suffers from Alzheimer's and dementia. Kenneth Howard was last seen walking along Kenwood Avenue near Crown Hill on the north side. He was last seen wearing a black IU skull cap, green jacket, and blue jeans. If you have any information about where this man is, call police. Now to the latest on all of those crashes we brought you as breaking news yesterday. That included this 14-car pileup here along Interstate 70. INDOT tells us that more than 50 crashes were not due to a lack of salt trucks. Instead, they say the challenge they faced was the salt not activating in time. Because it was a kind of dry period beforehand, they say there wasn't a lot of moisture on the roads to make it work more quickly. We want to check in with our forecast, though, this morning on this Friday. Let's toss things over to Todd Clausen.
Yeah, it's a lot different here this morning. We don't have the snow showers out there. That is the good news. Our issue this morning is the temperature. Look at this as the kids head up to the bus stop here. Your 7 o'clock temperature will be right around 22 degrees, but it's clear out there. And as the kids come home from school, we're looking at a temperature right around 43 with partly cloudy skies. So there's one band of cloud cover that's trying to sneak in here right now. This will bring us the partly cloudy skies here throughout the course of the afternoon hours, but nothing major. And a quick reminder, Saturday night, turn the clocks ahead 1 hour, and also a good opportunity to check those batteries and replace them in your smoke detectors. We'll talk more about the weekend forecast for you coming up here in just a few minutes.
All right, we'll see you then, Todd. Coming up, it's our favorite time of the week, Good News Friday, how a couple penguins learn to take better and cuter selfies than us. That's next.
You're watching RTV6, working for you.
Blackburn and Green is honoring our active duty military, police, firefighters, and first responders with a 10% discount on our attorney fee. Just call Blackburn and Green and ask for the Hometown Heroes discount. Experienced, aggressive, and tough. Call Blackburn and Green, attorneys for injured people.
What can stop it now?
Give your people Culligan water for $9.95 per month.
Most people come to LA with big dreams. We came with big appetites.
With Expedia, one click gives you access to discounts on thousands of hotels, cars, and things to do. Like level furnished living suites for 45% off. Everything you need to go. Expedia.
I never wore my retainers, so my teeth started to get crooked again. So I'm really just trying to get like a straighter smile.
Hey Indianapolis, we're Smile Direct Club, and we deliver invisible aligners direct to you for 60% less. We just opened a new Smile Shop near you, and we're inviting you to a free 30-minute visit with free premium whitening for a limited time. So go to SmileDirectClub.com to book your free Smile Shop visit. After this visit, we'll ship aligners direct to you. That means no more monthly office visits and the smile you'll love for 60% less.
March is matchup month at your Ford dealer, loaded with a full lineup of trusted SUVs, outselling the competition. Escape, Edge, Explorer, and Expedition are all built to win with the smart technology you want, plus the capability to handle all conditions. That's how you become America's best-selling SUV brand. Now you can lease a new Ford Explorer for just $299 a month. That's only $299 a month during the March matchup at your local Ford store.
You make it. 2018's most anticipated tour is coming. Jason Aldean, High Noon Neon Tour. Saturday, May 19th, Ruoff Home Mortgage Music Center with special guests Luke Combs and Lauren Elena. Pre-sale for City Card members now through Thursday at 10 p.m. before the general public on sale Friday at 10 a.m. Buy tickets at livenation.com.
In the fall of 2009, you finished your first marathon. In the winter of 2009, you were finished with marathons.
Your old treadmill has more miles to log. Put the useful to use.
You've heard the name, Keller & Keller.
They know how to talk to the insurance company.
Tell them you mean business.
I wanted more, and I knew I deserved more.
Call 1-800-2-KELLER and get Keller & Keller's.
Zero fee guarantee.
Call now.
Medical waste on your neighborhood street.
Somebody needs to check this out.
She called us.
I went WRTV.
Now the mess is cleaned up less than an hour after we found syringes, powerful medication, and raw fluids in a neighborhood full of kids.
Welcome back. Time now is 6:44, and throughout Good Morning Indiana, we will continue to honor the life of fallen Boone County Deputy Jacob Pickett ahead of his funeral services.
I think we can all use a smile this week, so it is our favorite time of the week, and that's Good News Friday.
Yeah, we're hoping this gives you the boost you need to make it to the weekend. First up, a very special friend to Haleigh Hospital for Children, Quigley, the Labradoodle. For the past 5 years, he's visited the hospital once a week with his so-called roommates, a.k.a. For Humans, Peter and Nancy Canning.
Generally, there's a big smile. We've heard from the staff sometimes that it creates the first smile they've seen of the day or things like that, but hopefully it just gives them a little distraction and a little joy for their day.
Well, a fun fact here, Quigley's second favorite hobby besides volunteering is Frisbee.
Oh, I just want to snuggle with her.
So cute. Okay. Butler Blue III, otherwise known as Tripp, is taking in the Big Apple. He joined the basketball team on the road for the Big East tournament. His Twitter account documenting the entire experience, checking out Times Square and getting in those quality belly rubs from the team, and then heading over to Madison Square Garden where he had a front row seat to watch the Butler Bulldogs beat Seton Hall and move on to the semifinals.
A teenager who's been working at a Texas Waffle House got the surprise of a lifetime this week because of her act of kindness. She was spotted cutting up an elderly man's food, and it turns out he's a regular at the diner, and it was his first trip back since being released from the hospital.
I was never raised to, bash people or anything. I was raised to help and try to give and, to receive, give blessings.
And now the blessings are coming her way. She and her mother were brought to tears when she was presented with a $16,000 scholarship to Texas Southern University after the university saw the photo of her helping that man. Wow.
Great story there. All right, well, look at this. A penguin selfie trending this morning. We just had to show it to you. 2 emperor penguins in Antarctica found a camera that someone left on the ice. The Australian Antarctic Division posted this video to its social media pages. So technically it's not really a selfie, but hey, it's close enough, and I'd say it's very cute. It's like, very suspicious.
What do you think this thing is? I'm not sure. I've never seen it before. That is just hilarious.
Love that story. Well, speaking of good news, we have better news in the weather department than yesterday, Todd.
Yeah, yesterday was just kind of a miserable day. We had the snow showers, all those issues on the roads in the morning, and then we just didn't warm throughout the day with temperatures that were in the 30s. It's a much brighter start to our day here as we're getting off to a nice but chilly Friday here across the area. You notice a few high, thin clouds out there, and that is just about it. But look at these temperatures right now. 19 from Cicero up towards the Tipton area, 18 in Kokomo, 19 in Logansport, Florida, 21 degrees, 19 in Lafayette as well as Crawfordsville. So it is very, very cold. Southern locations temperatures here, they are a little bit warmer in Columbus as well as Nashville at 24 degrees, but we are at 19 in Spencer. 24 is the current temperature in Bedford. So you just need the heavier coat once again this morning as you walk out the door. Skies are mainly clear, although we are noticing now some high, thin clouds starting to stream into the area. And this will be a little bit of a trend throughout the day today. We have this little weak disturbance north of Omaha with some showers and snow showers. This is going to bypass us to the south, but as we miss out on the precipitation, we will start to see a little bit of that cloud cover make its way through the area. In TrueCast, here we are, 3 o'clock. This depicts that cloud cover making its way through the area. The rainfall, there it is, Sullivan, maybe Bedford over towards Seymour, and points to the south. Get in on a few showers later on this afternoon, but that should be just about it. And then by the time we get to about midnight tonight, skies will be in the process of clearing out once again. So for today, plenty of sunshine this morning, turning partly cloudy this afternoon. 43 is your high temperature with partly cloudy skies. It's a cool day, but it's a bright day, and the wind not as much of an issue here throughout the day today. For your weekend, Saturday's probably the better day. It's a little bit warmer, features a little more in the way of sunshine at 48 degrees. 45 on Sunday, a little more in the way of cloud cover out there, and that cloud cover is part of a storm system that's going to bypass us down to the south. Should stay far enough to the south that we avoid the precipitation, but again, a little more in the way of cloud cover throughout the day on Sunday, and then heading into next week as we make our push towards March Madness and eventually St. Patrick's Day. Pretty quiet weather pattern with partly cloudy skies and temperatures in the mid-40s. Elena?
All right, thank you, Todd. Here is a look at I-465 at Washington Street over on the west side. You can see the roads are dry and all is moving up to speed. Look how light it is already at this time of the day. That's great news for your morning commute. So let's take a look at the map. A few crashes to point out to you. First, we have this crash in the Plainfield area, Main Street, US 40 at Raceway Road. We also have a crash on the northwest side on northbound I-65 at I-465, an injury crash at Gasoline Alley at Rockville Road in the Speedway area. And then over on the east side, we have a crash at 21st Street at Ritter Avenue.
Elena, thank you. Ahead on Good Morning Indiana, a pastor fights to stay with his church congregation, but whether he can depend on the outcome of a trial happening here in Indianapolis.
Plus, just ahead on Good Morning America, separated and reunited.
The incredible story of twin brothers pulled apart at birth, but now together again many years later. Time now is 6:49. You're watching Good Morning Indiana. We've got much more ahead. Stick with us.
This casting is sponsored by Terry Lee Genesis, Luxury for Less on Highway 37 in Noblesville.
It's funny how the biggest ideas often make our impact smaller. How looking closer at soil has helped us grow our thinking. And by creating digital tools that make resource use more precise, we use less. Like many industries, agriculture uses data to evolve, but you might not see our greatest innovations because they help keep what the earth has given us right where it belongs. We give back by moving forward.
There are few things more stressful in life than being told by your doctor that you have an abnormal spot in the lung. If I were in that situation, the first thing I'd want to know is this cancer? If the diagnosis ends up being cancer, we have all the experts that need to be available here working together, communicating all the time. That's how you get things done right and how you get things done quickly.
Learn more at cancercenter.com/ChicagoLung.
There's a reason more and more Indiana drivers make the trip to Andy Moore Ford in Plainfield for their new Ford. Because at Andy Moore Ford, more means more.
More means more selection with over 800 new Fords to choose from. More means more savings with everyday low transparent pricing and attractive lease and finance options. Top dollar for your trade every day.
More selection, more savings, more for your money.
Find your new Ford on our 40 acres at Andy Moore Ford in Plainfield.
Weekends Only in Greenwood is finally open, and that means wall-to-wall savings on a huge selection of top-quality furniture and mattresses, living room, dining, bedroom, mattress, and more. We'll see you this weekend in Greenwood or Castleton for these one-of-a-kind deals.
There's something out there for you and me, and the American road is calling, so what's it gonna be? Hey, it's an amazing day, traveling our own highway. No matter where it leads us, we can smile, 'cause there's meaning in the miles.
Education, service, commitment, and relationships. These are the four main beliefs that embody the walls of Victory Range and Armory. From certified courses to our innovative gun ranges, VRA strives to provide a customer-focused, family-owned center for education, inventory, services, and facilities. Our objective, to help people make informed decisions for their firearm needs. Come see what sets VRA apart from the rest. Victory Range and Armory, the premier center for firearm education, training, and purchasing.
With Expedia, one click gives you access to discounts on thousands of hotels, cars, and things to do, like level furnished living suites for 45% off. Everything you need to go. Expedia.
Stars can't shine without darkness.
And that's depressing.
I prefer everything in small doses. Except Carl.
My body is a temple that just got a battleship tattoo.
These are terrible quotes, but Safe Auto will get you a great car insurance quote in just 3 minutes and could save you 25%.
Wow, that is a great quote.
Your Storm Team 6 forecast is sponsored by Regions Bank. From the only station working for you, this is RTV6 Good Morning Indiana.
Welcome back to Good Morning Indiana. Time now is 6:53. I'm Meredith Barrick.
And I'm Lauren Casey. Today we are remembering the life of fallen hero Deputy Jacob Pickett. His brothers in blue, loved ones, and our community will say our last goodbyes. And our team is taking you through the ways that you can as well. Nicole.
We are here this morning at Connection Point Christian Church in Deputy Pickett's hometown of Brownsburg. In the next hour, we are expecting the arrival of the procession, and from there will be a ceremonial removal of Deputy Pickett's casket from the hearse into the church. The honor guard will be here this morning, taking place in that ceremony. Deputy Pickett's family is expected to arrive and be escorted into the church around 10:30 this morning. The funeral is set to start at 11 o'clock. One by one, officers will pass by Deputy Pickett's casket with K-9 handlers to follow as they say goodbye to a local hero. We will continue our coverage here from the church on Good Morning Indiana.
We're here at the Crown Hill Cemetery, where this is the final resting place for Deputy Pickett. I'll step out of the way so you guys can see. Law enforcement is arriving to help escort his body to the church in Brownsburg. And once those services are over at the funeral, the massive procession will end up honoring Pickett, will make their way back to here at the Crown Hill Cemetery, where the burial will take place for this fallen hero.
And you can help Deputy Pickett's family by donating in his name. If you want to make a direct contribution to the Pickett family, you can send it to the Deputy Jake Pickett Memorial Fund. You can drop off those donations at the Boone County Sheriff's Office or at any key bank. You can also make donations online. To find that link, just head on over to our website, theindychannel.com, and click on the Hot button. There are also more stories there of remembrance on the RTV6 app.
And back to that breaking news on Indy's northeast side. Homicide detectives initially called to the scene of an assault, and we have since learned that victim has now died. It happened here on North Shadeland Avenue just about half an hour ago. Police telling us the victim was assaulted and taken to the hospital where they died. It's very early in the investigation, so we are working to get more details about what happened, including a possible suspect in the case. And if you're just tuning in with us, a seemingly major breakthrough between the U.S. and North Korea. The White House announced a meeting between President Trump and North Korean leader Kim Jong-un by the end of May, making Trump the first sitting U.S. president to meet with a North Korean leader. Rex Tillerson, speaking overnight, says Jong-un being so forward-leaning was a surprise to the U.S.
In Indianapolis, on the city's Near East Side, a man was shot and killed inside of a duplex. This all happened yesterday evening near Tacoma Avenue near Washington and Rural. Metro Police there believe that he knew the shooter. Of course, we'll continue to keep you updated once we have a suspect in his death.
Yesterday's frigid weather a contributing factor in the death of a woman after she drove her car into a retention pond on the southeast side. Witnesses reported seeing the woman, 88-year-old Doris Korn, slumped over the wheel before going into a roundabout and then into the pond. So far, crews have been unable to get her car out of the pond, but will try again today.
Today, an openly gay Methodist pastor goes on trial in Indianapolis for allegedly violating church policies. Reverend David Meredith is a pastor at Clifton United Methodist Church in Cincinnati. It's the second time he's been put on a, quote, church trial. Some church members say that he violated a rule that prohibits ceremonies that celebrate homosexual unions.
Today, Florida's governor will meet with family members of those killed in the Stoneman Douglas High School shooting. He's asking their opinions about the school safety bill state lawmakers passed this week. It includes some gun law reforms, gives schools money for mental health programs, and would let teachers carry guns at school, which Governor Scott said he's against arming teachers.
Watchful neighbors are being credited with helping officials down in Johnson County bust a suspected drug house. 5 people are now facing charges after complaints were made about a home on Tamara Way in Franklin. One of those arrested was a juvenile. Neighbors say it was easy to tell that something was going on when lots of high schoolers started stopping by.
The canal downtown will turn orange this afternoon, all for a good cause. The color change is in honor of Multiple Sclerosis Awareness Week, which starts on Sunday. Mayor Joe Hogsett will lead the ceremony at noon. Elaine?
As you're taking to the roads this morning, a few crashes to point out to you. In Plainfield, we have a crash at Main Street, US 40 at Raceway Road. Up in the north side, a crash Kessler Boulevard East Drive at Meridian Street. And on the east side, 21st Street at Ritter Avenue. Let's take a look at those roads right now. Here's a look at I-70 at Rural Street, Keystone Avenue. The great news, it's light out, those roads are dry, and all is moving up to speed. Todd?
It's chilly out there this morning. You really need to bundle up. We're in the teens and 20s with plenty of sunshine. We'll turn the skies partly cloudy throughout the day today, and temperatures will eventually climb up into the low 40s for most of us. A little cooler to the north. The wind not as much of an issue here throughout the day today. So all in all, not a bad day, despite being a little bit below normal. Tomorrow is pretty nice. partly sunny skies, 48 degrees. Turn the clocks ahead 1 hour Saturday into Sunday. Then next week, pretty quiet with plenty of sunshine and temperatures in the mid to upper 40s.
Todd, thank you, and thank you for joining us on this Friday. Remember, all your news can be found throughout the day on the RTV6 app, including weather and traffic.
We'll leave you now with a look at some pictures of Deputy Jacob Pickett, a life cut too short too soon. This is the great life he led. We will be bringing you live coverage of his funeral services starting this morning at 10:30. Thank you so much for joining us this morning on Good Morning Indiana. Have a wonderful weekend.